Hello, and welcome to Tuesday Tips for Life, where we discuss topics and concepts in order to develop practices and habits that will enhance your life. Today, our topic, I could probably sit here and talk about it for hours because it is so important and just so necessary. But we're going to just hit this for a few quick minutes. Let's get started. So for the last several Tuesdays, we've been talking about the 6 things we are working to develop in our lives in 2018, and we are on number 5. And I told you last week that we were probably going to sit here for a little bit because there's several things we can dive into, and that 5th thing that we're working on in 2018 is leadership. And so today we're going to specifically look at self-leadership, what it is, why it's important, and what does that look like. So first of all, what is self-leadership? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's leading yourself. You know, you have teachers, leaders, parents, all kinds of people in your life that have leadership over you, and you're following them, you're following their instruction, their guidance, their wisdom. But that is so important and necessary, but there is such thing as self-leadership, where you are leading yourself, you are taking yourself to where you want to go. Looking back at my high school experience, I realize now that there are certain subjects and certain content that I didn't get the most out of, not because it wasn't in my textbook, but because I didn't dive into it and lead myself in that subject. For example, there specifically are history classes where I got good grades, I answered the questions, I did well on the test, I did all my assignments, but I was just memorizing answers. I didn't really get all that I could have gotten out of that class because I didn't invest myself and lead myself in diving into that content, learning it, knowing what it means, not just to get a good grade on a test, but help me grow my knowledge for the future. Self-leadership is so important. Why is it so important? Because at the end of the day, we are all responsible for ourselves. For where we are, for where we come from, and for where we're going. We're responsible. Yes, we have these great people in our lives that are serving as leaders and taking us, whether it be in our education, in our spiritual walk with the Lord, but we are each individually responsible for ourselves. And so it's important because while we can pass the blame all we want, when it boils down to it, the only one to blame for why we're where we are or why we're not where we wish we were is the person in the mirror. What does it look like? It looks like taking ownership of our lives, of us truly owning it, making it all that God wants it to be. We take ownership and we don't rely on other people and circumstance to get us to where we want to be, but really owning it and just doing what it takes to get there. Another thing that it looks like setting personal goals for yourself. And this is in every area of your life, with your academics, with maybe friendships, with your spiritual walk with the Lord. Set goals for yourself because you got to own it. This is your life. And if it's not the way that you wish it was, and if you know it's not the way God wants it to be, own it and then set goals to change it. You know, we look at athletes and other people who have achieved so much, and we might look at them like idols almost, like, oh my goodness, I wish I could be like that. But the truth is, if you saw what it took to get where they are, you might not want it so badly, because what it looks like for them day in and day out is taking ownership, setting goals, and lots of discipline. And that's the 3rd thing that I want to leave you with, that self-leadership looks like. It looks like discipline because it's an everyday thing of leading yourself and taking yourself one step closer in each of those goals and each of those things that you're working on. And it is a lifelong process. It's never going to end. You're never going to be done. You're never going to arrive at this finishing point until you're gone. It's a lifelong process. No matter your age, this is something we should all be doing and working towards. That is self-leadership, what it is, why it's important, what it looks like. I encourage you to write down some goals, some areas you want to improve on, and we're going to be talking further on this next week, looking at some real life stories of what it looks like, and I'm so excited. So have a great rest of the week, and we will talk with you soon.